Welcome to Jazz Piano Daily, number 121. Today I'm going to talk to you about why you would use three-note rootless chord voicings and also how to form three-note rootless chord voicings. So let's shift over to the music here. If you can't see the music, if it's grayed out and you're on YouTube, that just means that you're not viewing the lesson on the Jazz Piano Daily site as a Jazz Piano Daily member. So if you're interested in membership, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com and you can get all the details there. All right, so now in the sheet music here, the first thing I want to just point out is take a look at what it says right here. Chords listed here are listed here for easier reading. They're not intended to be played together or in the octave that they are written. You'll also see here that I have this as 8VA and this is simile. That means that all of these chords in the left hand you would continue to play up an octave. You can play these together if you wanted to. It's not going to be the end of the world if you did that, but it's just not intended for that. So I wrote out the four-note voicings in the right hand just so you have them again so you can refer to them, all right, so you have all of the notes. All right, so this is our B-flat blues, and you're going to see in the upcoming lessons as I write out a solo for the B-flat blues how these chords are going to come into play. So it's really important that you learn them and just take your time learning them. It's not something that you learn overnight, and if you need help forming these chords, the rootless chords, just go back to Jazz Piano Daily 1, 2, and 3 where I talk about these rootless chords. All right, so anyway, B-flat 7, E-flat 7, B-flat 7, I'll just go through all the chords. F minor 7, B-flat 7, E-flat 7, E-flat 7, B-flat 7, G7, then C minor 7, F7, B-flat, G, C, F. All right, so in the right hand, I'm playing a four-note chord. Again, remember, I would typically be playing that chord down here in the left hand, and also remember that there are two inversions of our rootless chords that we typically play. One is with the seventh on the bass, or the other one is with the third as the bottom note. I should say as the bottom note versus the bass, all right? So the seventh here, again, this is a B-flat 7 chord, right? So this B-flat 7, you'll see that the bottom note here is A-flat, which is the seventh. I could also do bottom note with the third as, here on the bottom note, all right? So notice it's the same notes, just two different inversions. All right, so here's my B-flat 7, four-note rootless chord voicing, so let's make it a three-note rootless chord voicing. What I do is, basically one way of looking at it is, any place you see this like cluster of a half step or a whole step, just remove one of those notes, right? So now what I have is I have my 7th and my 3rd and my 13th. Now, why would I keep the 3rd versus keeping the 9th? Why? Because the 3rd defines the chord. So make sure that you have the 3rd and the 7th in your chord, at least for now. You could play around with voicings and do all crazy things down the road in which you leave out the 3rd, do stuff like this, which is like, the 9th in there, the 5th and the 13th, if you're looking for different sounds. But for right now, when you're just getting started with this, keep the 3rd and the 7th in there and add in one tension. That's basically what's going on with the three-note voicing. You have the 3rd and the 7th. Of course, we know it could also be 7th and 3rd, right? In this case, 7th and 3rd, and one tension. Now the E-flat 7, same thing. I have the 3rd and the 7th and one tension. Well, which tension am I going to do? Am I going to do the 13th right there or the 9th? Well, which one looks better? Which one makes more sense? The one with the 9th, right? Going back to B-flat 7, I'm just going to go through all of them, and then we're going to talk in a second about why we would use these chords. F minor 7, there's my four-note voicing. I take out the 5th, 3rd, 7th, 9th. There's my three-note voicing. Then B-flat 7 again, then back to E-flat 7, E-flat 7, then B-flat 7, G7. There's my four-note voicing. Take out the 9. There's my three-note voicing, 7, 3, and 13. And then C minor 7, there's my four-note voicing. Take out the 5th. I have 3, 7, and 9. And then F7. And then finally B-flat 7, G7, C minor 7, F7. And it's a good idea to also learn these in the right hand because you could do your bass line with this. So you can do your bass line in the left hand while doing the three-note voicings in the right hand. So now let's answer the question, why would you use a 3-note voicing? Well, number one, with the 4-note voicings, we have 4 notes that can conflict with whatever it is that I'm playing for my improvisation in the right hand, okay? So you can hear that there's already some tension that's being created with this 4-note voicing. What about the E flat 7? You hear that tension in there, the half step in there? So there's already tension that's being created in the left hand, so that could mean that that tension could kind of conflict with my improvisation and make it a little bit more challenging to get something that I'm enjoying in the right hand. That's one. So now let's play the 12-bar blues, and here it is in a swing style. So when I do this and I have my 4-note voicings, sounds great, okay? Nothing wrong with that, right? Sounds typical, like, you know, a jazz sound to it. Great. But now what happens if I change the style to, maybe I'm going to do like a rock style, all right? Now listen to what happens. You hear how now it sounds too jazzy for the style. Now, what I could do is I could change around the sound that I'm using, maybe do like a cool electric piano sound, but still, you'll notice. But now listen to what happens when I move to the 3-note voicings. See how it opens up this sound? Now, bear in mind, I don't love this electric piano sound. You probably don't love it either. Just getting the point across, all right? All right, so anyway, hopefully what you hear and can recognize is that when you play those full 4-note rootless chord voicings, you know, in a jazz style, sounds great. Latin jazz, you know, even in a blues style would sound fine. But as soon as you start to move into some other styles of music, sometimes those 4-note chords get to be a little too thick. So the 3-note chords are a little bit easier. The third reason why the 3-note chords are great is because they're easier to get to, right? They're easier to remember, they're easier to get to, all right? And it's a little bit easier than trying to remember all 4 of those notes. And also, it's probably going to help you create less tension, whereas like if I have to play that middle finger in there, right, it might create a little bit more tension in the hand. Okay? So anyway, that's my argument for why the 3-note voicings are good to have in your arsenal. I want to be very clear, though, and tell you that I'm not saying that you don't use 4-note voicings. I use 4-note voicings all the time. Sometimes I even do 5-note voicings. You know, might even do stuff like this, you know, which I'll like throw in even one more extra note in there, like add in that sharp 11 in there and make it a 5-note voicing. What I'm saying is that knowing the 3-note voicings, knowing those 3-note rootless voicings is just a good feather to have in your cap. Knowing that those voicings, along with the 4-note voicings, you're really going to cover your bases quite nicely. All right, so anyway, try going through this music, go through those 3-note and 4-note voicings, and in tomorrow's lesson, I'm going to start to break down a solo, and I'm going to create a blues solo over this progression with these 3-note voicings, and we're going to do it in real time. All right, I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson. To get the first 45 pages of music for free, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com. If you liked the video, please be sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. To watch the rest of the lessons in this series, just click on the playlist to the right of this arrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.